get money and all that I get in gets disrespectful audacity. It's from a book titled Vagabonds by Eloisa Osunde. My second quote would definitely be from Necessary Fiction by the same author that says that my desires for my life will not bend. I will not center a love that is not careful with me. And the reason why this quote resonates with me is that it reminds me how you should not bend your desires, your principles, and just even in human relations, things that you should not bend. You should always stay true to your politics, and that's it. That's for me. You should always stay true. That's why and money moves the world. Money makes power money. So of course, get money is very important.
And it's very on brand that your quotes are coming from books, given the work that you do.
Yes, very on brand, guys. As a feminist memory worker, that's on period.
My favorite quote is from The First Woman, the book by Jennifer Makumbi. She's a Ugandan author. And it says that, I'd like to read if you don't mind. Remember, be a good person, not a good girl. Good girls suffer a lot in this life. So it's my favorite quote because I'm going through a phase where I'm also contemplating if I want to be a good girl, because good girls don't get a corner offers, be a good person but not a good girl. They're two different things. Over the years, I've come to a realization, which has been more like prominent this week actually, that niceness doesn't really work well in this world if you want to get what you want, Being nice and hoping that would get you forward actually doesn't. But understanding your environment, adapting to how things work within your space, and adjusting to that, and playing whatever game is being played around you is what will get you ahead.
Right.
So being nice, being a good girl in the Ghanaian context of what a good girl is, doesn't really get you forward and ahead. But being hardworking and being a good person at heart, but being strategic actually gets you ahead. So that's why it resonates with me.
So my favorite quote is, "Come on, boy." I say that a lot because usually I've played football in the past. So it's kind of a way to motivate my teammates to push and let's go for the goal, let's go for the win. And pretty much in life too, it's the same situation. You can motivate yourself and be like, I can do this. Come on, boy. Like, let's do this. You see that? So that's my favorite quote.
Right. When was the last time you used this very quote to motivate you?
I think yesterday, because I went jogging with a friend and he was feeling so tired. I'm like, come on, boy, let's go.
Let's go.
So yesterday.
I think my favorite quote, and I cannot quote it exactly, but it's along the lines of, if you think you can do something, then you're right. And if you think you can't, then you're probably right too. And for me, I just find that inspirational. And it just says to me that, hey, you can do whatever you set your mind to. And I'm very much a go-getter. And so, that's a quote that resonates with me.
Right. When would you say is the last time you applied this quote practically in your life?
I feel like every day, to be honest. Every single day. I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't have that self-belief.
Right.
My favorite quote is, no one tells you bravery feels like fear, right? So it's more or less like there's a thin line between being brave and being afraid. And basically that's where I derive the whole go-getter attitude from.
What is your favorite quote and why?
Favorite quote? Unfortunately, I do not have a favorite quote because I'm not really someone who, keeps quotables. What I do is I love poetry, and there are a bunch of poems or lines that I really, really love or really, really resonates with me. And I think for this one, I would share one of my favorites. It's by Ilya Kaminsky, and it says, "You can fuck anyone, but with whom can you sit in water?" And that is one of my favorite lines that I think about every day.
And why?
Why? Because it makes me understand the concept of holding space. You can literally, and like you said, you can literally fuck anyone. You can just be with anyone, but who can you actually sit in water? When shit gets real, who is there to hold you. And for me, it has always been my community. And every time I think about it, because whenever, I need to hold space for someone in my community or someone in my community hold space for me, it reminds me what it means to actually be in community with people, because these are people you've chosen to be with, to protect with. So I can be with anyone else, no matter what, but at the end of the day, who is going to sit in water with me? It is my community.
What's your favorite quote and why?
Okay, my favorite quote is from Che Guevara. Che Guevara is this big internationalist icon that I have in my life. And then there's this quote where he says that if you tremble with indignation at every injustice, then you are a comrade of mine. And that resonates with me very deeply, because I do not see any moment where people need to be neutral about things. And I feel that if they have the courage to speak up about these issues, if these issues concerns them, it worries them, then it means that we are almost like-minded or are interested in the same things.
It actually comes from Kwame Nkrumah, where he talks about, if death cannot even extinguish the flame that has been lit inside of him. There's one quote that gives me both the confidence and the permission to be and to do so much more, and not fear that there is something out there that can extinguish that flame that is within me. So yeah, comes from Premier Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
What is your favorite quote?
I'm a bad bitch. Always been a bad bitch.
Period. And how does that resonate with you?
Well, look at the material.
Look at the material.
Yeah. I feel like I'm apologetically myself. I'll be walking on the street and everyone's looking, judging, but you're hyping me up. If you're judging me while I'm walking down the street, you're hyping me up. I'm like, oh, those are my fans.
What's your favorite quote and why?
My favorite quote is from Rick and Morty.
Right.
Rick, he went to a certain planet and people were booing him, and it was like, I've seen what you cheer for. Your boos mean nothing to me. And it resonated with me. You don't have to think of what people think about you. Just go ahead on whatever you're doing. Yeah.
When was the last time you applied the wisdom from this quote in your life?
Almost every day in my life. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
As an introvert, I'm trying to get out of my shell more, and this is the quote that
gets you there. What's your favorite quote and why?
I think it's from Denzel Washington in one of his speeches after he had won an Emmy or a Grammy, I don't know which one. But he said, ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. And I find that to be true, that when things get easy, we take life for granted. But when they get tough, our creative juices flow. And it's true. Ghana, for example, as a country, has got cocoa in every street, if you like. Switzerland does not have one cocoa tree in the entire Switzerland. But Swiss chocolate is a global phenomenon. There's not much room for Ghana chocolate. So it tells me that it's not ease that creates, progress. It's hardship. Not having much helps you to get more. And so it just works for me.
Yeah, but that's a complicated fact to reckon with, because that's to say that we should always live in hardship just so we can be creative. So
not at all.
Personally for you, what would you say the take home is?
So I think for me, it's just that if we get too comfortable, then we are not forced to do more.
So pretty much comfortability is like a state of mind.
Exactly. Okay. Let's always keep pushing. Yeah. Every time you feel, and usually when you're comfortable, then you're at peace. Mm-hmm. Okay, but no. The captain is not a captain of a boat that is at the port. He's only a captain when he's, going over the waves. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
I hate quotes. I hate quotes that's become the essence of conversation. I hate, maybe hate is a strong word, but I just like it. I just like people kind of building plans and their lives around quotes, whether it's a quote from a philosopher or from thousands of years back, or whether it's a quote from a Bible, or whether it's a quote from another religious book, or whether it's a quote from something someone said in a movie and then living by it. I feel like sometimes the quote becomes the essence rather than finding the essence of what you want to do, right? But that said, there's a proverb, there's an account proverb that I've liked recently. I think over the last year I've used it a few times. Or I've seen situations where I felt like it was appropriate for it. And it goes like this. It goes like, "Bosuma opesa ono utinano, eno chirewu nichiwadie." Meaning the God that wants to live in harmony with you, like wants to stay with you, is the one that tells you what they don't like. And the thinking behind it is that, if you kind of think about it literally, the bosom can kill you for doing the wrong thing. And so if they tell you what they don't like, then they're giving you an opportunity to kind of not do that so that you can live in harmony with them. And there's obviously multiple contexts that you can use it in. This is like in a work environment, in a romantic relationship, in a friendship. It's important to kind of understand that if somebody's telling you and letting you know what they don't like, they are telling you that because they probably want to keep you around. They want you around, and so they're letting you know how to behave so that you can maintain that relationship. So I guess I'm full of contradictions, just like a lot of these quotes.